Some single-player games are so masterfully crafted they've earned a flawless reputation. These perfect score experiences are absolutely worth your time. Let's check out this list. A Plague Tale Requiem takes everything that made Innocence memorable and cranks it to terrifying new heights. You step into the shoes of Amicia once again, guiding her sick younger brother Hugo through a war-torn and plague-infested France. The stealth mechanics are sharper, the puzzles more inventive, and the rat swarms. Oh, the rats are now a horrifying force of nature capable of swallowing entire cities. The story is dark, heartbreaking, and relentlessly emotional, but it's also carried by powerful performances that make you care deeply about this brother-sister bond. Add to that jaw-dropping visuals, haunting music, and unforgettable set pieces, and you get one of the most gripping narrative-driven adventures of this generation. It's heavy, it's brutal, but if you can stomach the despair, Requiem is absolutely worth experiencing.
I know. Think of your brother. We have to carry on.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a modern RPG masterpiece that wears its inspirations proudly while still carving out its own identity. Set in the haunting world of Lumiere, every year, a godlike figure called the Paintress dooms its people to vanish at a set age, and you lead a desperate expedition to break that curse once and for all. What makes the game shine is its phenomenal turn-based combat system. It blends stylish Persona-like menus with real-time parries and dodges that keep every battle tense and exciting, especially against bosses where perfect timing can mean everything. Each party member feels unique with their own mechanics, from elemental spell chains to stance-based combat and even card-dealing scythe attacks. The story is heartfelt and somber, exploring grief, mortality, and sacrifice, yet balanced with moments of charm, humor, and stunning artistry. Paired with a gorgeous Belle Epoque-inspired aesthetic and a sweeping soundtrack, Expedition 33 delivers one of the most unforgettable RPG experiences in years. God of War Ragnarok isn't just a sequel, it's a thunderous conclusion to Kratos' Norse saga. Picking up years after the 2018 masterpiece, it throws you into a world on the brink of apocalypse, where prophecy, family, and sacrifice collide. The writing and performances are outstanding, with Christopher Judge's Kratos delivering raw power and heartbreak in equal measure, while Atreus finally steps out of his father's shadow. The combat is ferocious and fluid, expanding on the axe and blades with new mechanics, weapons, and some of the most brutal finishers you'll ever see. Boss fights are bigger, more varied, and constantly push you to adapt. Every realm feels alive, from the icy fjords of Midgard to the blazing deserts of Alfheim, each packed with secrets, puzzles, and unforgettable encounters. With its breathtaking story, flawless combat, and jaw-dropping spectacle, Ragnarok doesn't just match its predecessor, it surpasses it, cementing itself as one of the greatest action epics ever made. Celeste looks like a simple retro platformer at first glance, but it's one of the most profound gaming experiences of the last decade. You play as Madeline, climbing the mysterious Celeste Mountain, and what begins as a test of skill quickly becomes a moving story about anxiety, self-doubt, and the courage to face your inner demons. The platforming is razor sharp, built on just a few simple moves, jumping, dashing, and wall climbing, but the creativity packed into its levels is staggering. Every chapter introduces new mechanics, secrets, and brutal challenges, and even when you fail hundreds of times, instant respawns and perfectly designed checkpoints keep you hooked. What elevates Celeste even higher is its heart. The characters are quirky and relatable, the adaptive soundtrack is breathtaking, and the story blends seamlessly into the gameplay. It's not just a tough platformer, it's a deeply emotional journey that proves games can challenge both your reflexes and your soul. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition is one of the most underrated open-world games out there, and even a decade later it holds up beautifully. At its core is an incredible story following Wei Shen, an undercover cop trying to take down the Hong Kong triads while slowly being consumed by the very world he's infiltrating. It's a gripping narrative full of tension, betrayal, and unforgettable characters. Gameplay-wise, it blends hard-hitting martial arts combat, fluid gunplay, and high-speed driving through a vibrant and chaotic Hong Kong. The city feels alive, whether you're brawling in back alleys, weaving through traffic in a stolen sports car, or chasing down criminals. The Definitive Edition sharpens visuals, extends draw distances, and bundles in all DLC, making it the best way to experience this gem. If you missed it the first time around, don't sleep on Sleeping Dogs. It's an action-packed crime drama that rivals the very best in the genre.
Show me how to understand what makes a good.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps is one of the most breathtaking platformers ever made. Moon Studios took everything that made Ori and the Blind Forest unforgettable and expanded it with more freedom, fluid combat, and an even more emotional story. Every region feels alive, from sunlit forests and icy peaks to the terrifying depths of insect-filled caverns, all brought to life with stunning art and a score that reacts to your every move. The platforming is exhilarating. Chaining jumps, dashes, and grapples feels like second nature, especially during its heart-pounding chase sequences. Combat has also been reimagined with a full arsenal of weapons and abilities, letting you experiment with creative playstyles. But what makes Will of the Wisps truly special is its heart, a bittersweet tale of loss, hope, and redemption that lingers long after you've finished. It's not just a sequel, it's a masterpiece of beauty, challenge, and emotion. Titanfall 2 is Respawn's masterpiece, finally delivering the single-player campaign fans wanted while keeping its trademark fast, fluid multiplayer intact. The story follows Rifleman Jack Cooper and his Titan partner BT, and while their buddy cop banter is familiar, their bond grows into one of the game's strongest highlights. The campaign shines with 9 brilliantly designed chapters that constantly mix things up, from massive factory assembly lines to mind-bending platforming challenges that push your mobility to the limit. Combat is a perfect balance of speed and firepower, whether you're wall running as a pilot or swapping loadouts mid-battle inside BT. Then there's multiplayer, faster, deeper, and more strategic than ever, with unique titans, dynamic modes, and an addictive progression system that keeps you coming back. Few shooters evolve so completely in their sequels, but Titanfall 2 nailed it, and it remains one of the best FPS campaigns of all time. Psychonauts 2 takes everything fans loved about the original and cranks it up with style and heart. 16 years after the first game, Raz is back, this time as an intern at the Psychonauts headquarters, diving into both real-world spy antics and wildly imaginative mental worlds. Each mind you explore is a surreal playground, from a psychedelic music festival with Jack Black to a casino hospital mashup, all bursting with creativity. The quirky cast, especially Raz's family, adds emotional weight and humor, making the story both deeply personal and hilariously weird. Platforming and combat are smoother, though still a little clunky, with new psychic abilities that keep battles engaging. Despite some grindy upgrades, Psychonauts 2 nails that perfect mix of heartfelt storytelling, inventive level design, and childhood wonder. It's a long-awaited sequel that feels absolutely worth the wait. Super Mario Odyssey is Nintendo at its most creative, delivering a platforming adventure that feels both nostalgic and brand new. At the heart of it all is Cappy, Mario's new companion, who lets you possess enemies and objects to completely change how you play. From stomping around as a T-Rex to stacking Goombas sky high, the variety keeps every kingdom fresh and surprising. Odyssey brilliantly fuses classic 2D Mario nostalgia with sprawling 3D sandbox worlds, and each kingdom is packed with secrets, puzzles, and hundreds of power moons to uncover. Places like New Donk City show just how wild and inventive Mario's world can get, mixing urban playgrounds with classic platforming charm. Even after the credits roll, Odyssey keeps going with new challenges, costumes, and post-game worlds. It's a pure celebration of Mario's legacy and one of the most joyful games ever made.
Get ready for
Doom Eternal is pure, relentless chaos, and one of the most exhilarating shooters ever made. If 2016's reboot was a brutal comeback, Eternal feels like id Software cranked every dial to 11. The campaign is a non-stop gauntlet of bigger, faster, nastier demons that force you to fight smarter and faster with every encounter. Mid-air dashes, flamethrowers, and brutal finishers keep the combat flowing like a violent puzzle where the solution is always more aggression. The level design is sprawling and vertical, demanding mastery of movement as much as marksmanship, while the heavy metal soundtrack drives the carnage to near operatic heights. Even multiplayer gets a fresh twist with battle mode, a tense 2 versus 1 clash that's far more creative than your standard deathmatch. Technically polished and endlessly replayable, Doom Eternal doesn't just follow up the reboot, it redefines what a single-player FPS can feel like. This is the power fantasy perfected. Prey is one of the most atmospheric and clever sci-fi games of its generation. Set aboard the sprawling space station Talos I, it's a place filled with secrets, paranoia, and stories hidden in every terminal, audio log, and room. The real brilliance is how alive this world feels. Arcane's environmental storytelling makes even abandoned crew quarters feel personal and haunting. The game's shape-shifting enemies, mimics, add constant tension, since any coffee cup or chair could suddenly lunge at you. That paranoia keeps exploration gripping, even when the combat itself feels clunky compared to Arcane's other work. Prey shines more in its freedom of choice. Whether you hack, fight, sneak, or use alien powers, the game rewards creativity in solving problems. It's not perfect, with slow pacing and some lackluster fights, but the psychological atmosphere, rich lore, and flexible gameplay make Talos the one unforgettable and one that sci-fi fans shouldn't miss.
We're lost.
Donkey Kong Bananza is Nintendo's boldest 3D platformer since Super Mario Odyssey, and it absolutely delivers. Instead of Mario, this time DK takes center stage with a brand new mechanic, fully destructible environments. Nearly everything in the world can be smashed, ripped apart, or turned into tools for exploration, combat, and puzzles, and it feels amazing. Bananza brilliantly blends nostalgia with innovation, nodding to DK's arcade roots and Rare's Country trilogy while forging its own identity. DK's moveset is powerful and satisfying. Whether you're tearing chunks of ground to hurl at enemies, rolling through mobs, or climbing walls with ape-like freedom, every action feels weighty and fun. Its layered underground worlds are dense playgrounds packed with secrets, collectibles, and clever puzzles that constantly push its destruction-based mechanics in new ways. Add in Pauline as your sidekick, wild Bananza transformations, and a heartfelt story, and you've got one of Nintendo's best modern platformers. Bananza isn't just DK's comeback, it's a groundbreaking adventure that cements itself as the Switch 2's first masterpiece. Mass Effect 2 takes everything the first game promised and dials it up to 11. You step back into the boots of Commander Shepard, leading a desperate mission to stop the Reapers from wiping out all life in the galaxy. From the very first scene, the game hooks you, and the deeper you dive, the more unforgettable it becomes. What makes it truly special are the characters' flawed, fascinating, and brilliantly written. Every conversation, every choice, and every loyalty mission makes the experience feel deeply personal, especially if you're importing saves from the first game. Combat is sharper, classes feel unique, and the mix of RPG depth with explosive action keeps the pace thrilling. By the end, your story feels completely your own, with decisions that carry massive weight into the next chapter. Mass Effect 2 isn't just a game, it's an epic sci-fi saga you'll never forget. Stray takes a simple but brilliant idea, letting you explore a neon-soaked cyberpunk city as an ordinary cat, and turns it into one of the most unique adventures in years. You're not a superpowered hero, just a curious feline navigating a world of charming robots, dangerous zerks, and plenty of secrets hidden in the alleys. The joy comes from both the atmosphere and the little details, scratching up walls, knocking things off shelves, curling up for a nap, and of course, that dedicated meow button. Beneath the novelty, though, lies a heartfelt story anchored by your bond with the tiny robot B12 that balances lighthearted exploration with moments of real emotion. The platforming may be simple and sometimes stiff, but the constant variety, from chase sequences to puzzle-filled hub towns, keeps its 5-hour journey engaging. Stray proves that sometimes the smallest perspective can make the biggest impact. The Resident Evil 4 remake takes one of the most influential action horror games ever made and rebuilds it into a modern masterpiece. Leon Kennedy's mission through parasite-riddled Spain feels more intense than ever, with tighter pacing, sinister environments, and controls that finally match today's standards. Movement and gunplay are smooth, combat is fluid, and every encounter pushes you to think fast, whether it's kneecapping enemies for brutal finishers, parrying with your knife, or turning the environment itself into a weapon. Capcom has reimagined boss fights, improved Ashley's AI, and packed the campaign with clever surprises, while keeping the relentless tension that made the original legendary. Every shot, every scream, and every encounter hits harder thanks to incredible sound design and the RE engine's chilling detail. Aside from a slightly less charming merchant and missing side modes at launch, this remake is nearly flawless. It's not just Resident Evil 4 rebuilt, it's Resident Evil perfected.
Some missing, señorita?
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a monumental RPG that set the gold standard for open-world storytelling. At first, the main quest feels slow and padded with errands, but the moment you step off the beaten path, the game reveals its true brilliance. Every side quest feels like a story worth telling, filled with political intrigue, monster hunts, and choices that carry real weight and consequences. The world itself is breathtaking, with vast fields, bustling villages, and a living ecosystem shaped by war and weather. Geralt's combat finally feels fluid and powerful, blending swordplay, signs, and alchemy into encounters that are both brutal and strategic. Customization runs deep, letting you shape Geralt into the Witcher you want to play. While performance had issues at launch and the main narrative drags in places, the sheer density of meaningful content, stellar voice acting, and unforgettable characters make this one of the greatest RPGs ever created. Hollow Knight is a masterclass in Metroidvania design, offering a sprawling underground kingdom that feels alive with history, mystery, and challenge. The world of Hollow Nest is beautifully hand-drawn, with each biome distinct in atmosphere, from the lush green path to the haunting City of Tears, all tied together with a hauntingly gorgeous soundtrack. Exploration is at the heart of the game. You'll constantly stumble into hidden bosses, secret areas, and lore-rich moments that make every discovery feel earned. The combat is deceptively simple, yet demands precision, with a vast variety of enemies and dozens of tough bosses that test your skill and patience. Layer in a flexible charm system that lets you shape your playstyle, and the result is an experience that rewards creativity as much as perseverance. Hollow Knight isn't just content-rich, it's endlessly captivating, a dark and beautiful journey that makes every step into the abyss worth it. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is the kind of game that makes you forget the real world exists. Set in a vast, breathtaking fantasy land, Skyrim gives you complete freedom to live out your own adventure. You can slay dragons, master powerful magic, sneak through ancient ruins, or even just decorate your home in Whiterun. Every choice feels meaningful. The world is alive with random encounters, hidden quests, and unforgettable guild storylines like the Thieves Guild or Dark Brotherhood. Combat is flexible, whether you're swinging a massive axe, dual casting fireballs, or unleashing dragon shouts that shake the battlefield. But what truly makes Skyrim timeless is its sense of discovery. Every mountain, cave, and village hides new surprises, making exploration endlessly rewarding. Even years later, no two journeys through Skyrim feel the same, and that's why it remains one of the most iconic single-player RPGs ever made. Alien Isolation nails the atmosphere of Ridley Scott's original film better than any game before it. The art direction, sound design, and retro-futuristic details make Sevastopol Station feel like a perfect extension of the 1979 classic. Once the xenomorph appears, the tension skyrockets. It's unscripted, unpredictable, and relentless, forcing you to creep from lockers to vents with nothing but a motion tracker and your nerves to survive. For the first several hours, it's a masterclass in survival horror, every save point feeling like a hard-earned victory, but as the game drags on, repetition sets in. Endless backtracking, android filler enemies, and fake-out endings stretch the campaign far past its welcome. Instead of escalating, the fear gives way to frustration, especially on harder difficulties where death can feel unavoidable. In the end, Alien Isolation captures the soul of the franchise but loses its grip on pacing. What begins as pure terror slowly unravels into exhaustion. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an epic medieval RPG that feels like a Hollywood blockbuster brought to life. You step back into the boots of Henry, a blacksmith's son turned warrior, as dynasties clash and blood is spilled across a world bursting with history and personality. The highlight is Kuttenberg, a sprawling medieval city so detailed and alive it feels like a wonder of the RPG world. With around 100 quests, nearly every one is memorable, mixing politics, mystery, and emotional choices that rarely fall into fetch quest territory. Combat is skill-driven, gritty, and refined, while side quests feel like self-contained adventures that make the 120-hour journey fly by. Sure, some open world and story conflicts clash, but its ambition and storytelling shine through. This is a worthy sequel that delivers both a gripping cinematic tale and a sandbox of freedom you'll want to lose yourself in. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is From Software at their boldest, delivering a razor-sharp mix of stealth, mobility, and precision sword combat. Instead of relying on heavy armor or endless weapon builds, Sekiro pushes you to master timing, deflections, and the art of standing your ground. The result is some of the most intense one-on-one duels ever put in a game, where every clash of blades feels like life or death. Exploration is thrilling thanks to the grappling hook, letting you zip across rooftops and uncover secrets in vertical, interconnected levels that feel alive with danger and opportunity. Stealth adds another layer, giving you the freedom to strike like a true shinobi or reset when things go wrong. Bosses are punishing but unforgettable, demanding skill, patience, and adaptability. With its blend of brutal challenge, freeing movement, and stunning Sengoku-era setting, Sekiro proves that living and dying by the sword has never felt so rewarding.
Where's our money?
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a sweeping prequel about consequences, where your choices matter less than the fallout from decisions already made. As Arthur Morgan, you stand at the heart of the Van der Linde gang, juggling loyalty, morality, and survival in a world that's slowly leaving outlaws behind. The game's world is breathtaking, alive with chance encounters, shifting regions, and characters that remember you long after your first meeting. The story shines thanks to its weight as a prequel, with betrayals and heartbreak always looming, and new characters like Sadie Adler and Lenny adding depth beyond John Marston's shadow. Missions can feel repetitive, and semi-realistic systems, like managing Arthur's weight, sometimes break immersion. But those frustrations often serve the larger narrative, pulling you deeper into Arthur's conflict between right and wrong. Ultimately, Red Dead Redemption 2 is both a riveting tragedy and a richly detailed open world that's hard to walk away from once the credits roll.
In the late 1800s, America was evolving, on its way to becoming the most powerful country.
Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just another RPG, it's a landmark moment for the genre. Larian Studios has built a vast, reactive world where nearly everything feels possible. Whether you're toppling enemies with fireballs, talking your way out of danger, or romancing a shape-shifting druid who turns into a bear. The freedom is staggering, with choices that ripple across its 100-plus hour campaign, companions that feel deeply human, and quests that constantly surprise with their creativity. The turn-based combat is brutal, tactical, and endlessly varied, forcing you to adapt to every encounter while using the environment to your advantage. but what truly sets it apart is the writing rich, emotional, and often hilarious, with characters and villains you won't forget. Even with a few bugs and performance issues, Baldur's Gate 3 stands as the new gold standard for CRPGs, delivering an epic adventure that feels both deeply personal and larger than life.
And when I tried to buy it back, it cost me everything.
Terraria may look like a simple 2D sandbox, but don't let the pixel art fool you. This game is endlessly deep and dangerously addictive, dropping you into a colorful, randomly generated world with just a handful of tools. Terraria challenges you to dig, build, fight, and survive. On the surface, you'll craft shelters, attract NPCs to your village, and fend off zombie hordes when night falls. But the real magic happens underground, where vast caverns, rare treasures, and deadly monsters make every expedition a thrilling risk versus reward adventure. The crafting system is huge, letting you forge everything from grappling hooks and armor to magic boomerangs and even laser guns. Add in massive bosses like Skeletron and the Eater of Worlds, plus the option to team up with friends in multiplayer, and Terraria becomes a sandbox RPG that never stops surprising you. It's more than a 2D Minecraft clone, it's an indie classic that stands on its own.
So, you have come a long way in a couple of short but exciting days.
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a breathtaking follow-up to Breath of the Wild that somehow raises the bar even higher. It expands Hyrule with a dizzying array of new locations, from floating sky islands to the vast, perilous depths, while retaining the open-world freedom that made the original so captivating. New systems like weapon fusion, creative building with the Ultra Hand, and inventive dungeon design give players near limitless ways to explore, fight, and solve puzzles. The story is engaging, full of surprises, and builds beautifully on Bot W, while improved enemy and boss variety keeps combat fresh. Minor frame rate dips occur on Switch, but the game runs smoothly over 100 plus hours, with almost no bugs, proving Nintendo's craftsmanship. Tears of the Kingdom is a masterclass in open-world design, creativity, and adventure. An epic expansion of Hyrule that feels bigger, smarter, and more alive than ever.
I can do.
The Last of Us Part 1 is a stunning PS5 remake of Naughty Dog's 2013 masterpiece, delivering the definitive single-player way to experience this post-apocalyptic classic. The game rebuilds every environment, character, and animation from the ground up, with denser foliage, realistic lighting, and astonishing detail that showcases the PS5's power. The story remains haunting, emotionally resonant, and expertly told, exploring despair, hope, and the bonds between Joel and Ellie. While it omits the original multiplayer, the solo experience shines, with improved movement, smarter AI, and subtle DualSense haptics that make every interaction feel tactile. Accessibility options are extensive, and gameplay modifiers offer fun ways to experiment. Even if it isn't a must-have over the 2014 remaster, it's a gorgeous, carefully refined reimagining that cements The Last of Us as one of the best story-driven games of all time. Horizon Zero Dawn drops you into a stunning post-apocalyptic world, where nature has reclaimed the Earth and mechanical beasts roam freely. You play as Aloy, a clever and determined hunter, exploring massive forests, deserts, and snowy peaks while unraveling the mysteries of a long-lost civilization. Combat is thrilling, with 26 unique machine types, each with weak points to exploit, and a dynamic arsenal of bows, traps, and elemental arrows that make every fight feel strategic. Stealth, environmental awareness, and even overriding machines to fight for you add layers of depth to encounters. Beyond combat, settlements, bandit camps, and secret bunkers fill the open world with engaging side quests and rich lore. Fluid climbing, rolling, and traversal make exploration satisfying, and the main story delivers a clever, emotionally resonant mystery that keeps you hooked from start to finish. Horizon isn't just a beautiful open world, it's a masterclass in action RPG design.
And be careful what you bring to light.
Ghost of Tsushima is an epic, open-world samurai adventure set during the Mongol invasion of Japan. You play as Jin Sakai, a samurai forced to balance honor and survival to save his homeland. The story shines thanks to Jin's inner struggle and the unforgettable villain Khoten Khan, whose calm, cunning presence keeps every battle tense. Combat is fast, chaotic, and deeply satisfying. Switch between stances, use swords, bows, kunai, and bombs, and master the cinematic standoff mechanic to take out enemies in style. Progression comes from skill and technique, not invisible stats, making every victory feel earned. Stealth is less polished, but the game rewards bold, cinematic fights with thrilling encounters that feel straight out of a samurai movie. Exploration is breathtaking. The island of Tsushima is full of wind-swept fields, forests, and mountains, with quests and collectibles hidden organically in the world. Side quests and mythic tales offer legendary gear and abilities, while the stunning photo mode lets you capture the world in cinematic style. With gorgeous visuals, immersive music, and endlessly satisfying swordplay, Ghost of Tsushima is a must-play for fans of action and adventure. Bloodborne is a mesmerizing and deeply rewarding journey through the haunting city of Yharnam. Its fast-paced, aggressive combat with transforming melee weapons and tactical sidearms creates an exhilarating challenge. At the same time, the variety of horrifying beasts from insane villagers to cosmic horrors keeps every encounter fresh and tense. Exploration is richly satisfying, with hidden shortcuts, secret items, and lore-filled environments that reward curiosity and careful observation. The Chalice dungeons offer replayable content with unique bosses and items, extending the game's longevity. Subtle cooperative elements, including ghostly player shades, messages, and optional multiplayer, enhance the experience in creative ways. Every victory, from overcoming ordinary enemies to defeating massive bosses, brings a sense of triumph that makes every hour invested feel meaningful. Bloodborne masterfully blends challenge, discovery, and atmosphere, creating an unforgettable adventure that leaves a lasting impression.